So I'm still playing around with the database, and one of the things that I like about it is that it can also function as an embedded database. So inside an iOS app or Android app or a Windows application or a game or an embedded device, you can have a copy of the database and it will filter based on what the user has permission to, but it will still do true synchronization across the local database or the embedded database and whatever other database server that or client, other clients as well, that you're syncing with. And when you have a database embedded inside your application, it can function a lot faster. Um, and one way of demonstrating that could be, for instance, here's a simple got dot game that allows me to add a circle, and it will start bouncing around, and it looks pretty. But what is interesting is that in this case, what the client does is that it just inserts a value into a table, and then every 60 seconds for each frame it calls a function inside the database that calculates the physics for this ball, and then it shows it on the screen. And since it's inside the database, that also means that I can basically insert a new ball simply by doing a insert, right? I can even add a lot, right? I can, add 50. And all of this is done basically by this, in this case, super stupid game. And all it does is that it calls it's not a stored procedure, but kind of like a stored procedure inside the database every 60 seconds. And then when it gets notified about changes in the database, that gets synced into the embedded database, and then it shows that on the screen. So if I wanted to, I can now, on the actual server that this is connected to, also subscribe to those changes, and I will now actually see what's happening, right? So for instance, right now there's nothing happening, right? It's just dead, there's nothing here. And if I add a ball, you can see all of those updates for that ball, right? And if I add one more, hopefully you can see it in the recording, that there's now 2 different color balls being updated all the time. So this is another use case that we can use this database for. I hope this was interesting. I hope this makes sense.